Hello, hi, it's Mari Melody. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do my movie overview of Obsession. I know it's been out for a while, but Arissa and I, my sister and I, we were finally able to go watch it last Thursday. And after my sister and I watch a movie, we always go and find overviews to see the kind of things we missed, other people's opinions. And I saw an overwhelming number of middle-aged men making review videos and just missing the point entirely. So I wanted to give my own 2 cents and put it out onto the internet because I feel like a woman's opinion is valuable, especially when it comes to the topic of a woman's autonomy, right? I think it makes sense to me that the point flew over a lot of men's heads because it's just not something many of them could empathize with. There's also some small things that I feel like just got missed. I'm gonna go through the movie top to bottom with my opinions and thoughts, and I even have some notes here so that I don't miss anything. So firstly, what is the movie about? The movie is about a man named Bear, short for Baron, that has a crush on his childhood friend, Nikki. He makes a wish on a one-wish willow, which was like a glorified toy that he got at a crystal shop. And he wishes that she would love him more than anyone in the fucking world. His words, not mine, okay? And obviously, things do not work out as planned for him. The first scene of him is of him practicing confessing his feelings to Nikki, but with a random server at a diner and his friend Ian. In this practice confession, you can tell from the start that he is only talking about what he does for him and not anything really particularly about Nikki. Nothing special about Nikki. Nothing individual about her, right? It's him talking about, oh, you're the only one there for me. You're the only one that calls me when something happens. And he's saying all these like grandiose things about how she's the one for him without them ever having that deepened connection. I feel like being able to say things like that is earned through genuine connection and time. But it's clear that he's going from 0 to 100. He's going from confessing his feelings to, you know, spending forever together, right? Like, you're not, usually when you're confessing your feelings to somebody, you're not going to jump that far ahead into the future. Now, he gets home from the diner to discover that his cat, Sandy, has passed away. How did his cat pass away? She got into some painkillers or oxy that was left out. Now, there's a scene of him finding his cat, right, with the pills, and he puts, like, it's in a child lock pill bottle, and the cat still somehow gets into it, which means that it was just left out and open. And he puts it back in the medicine cabinet where you see all of his grandmother's pills, like a bunch of different pill bottles lined up, put away neatly, except for the oxy. So Bear has inherited this house that he's living in from his grandmother, who has passed away not too long ago. And there's dried dead flowers and stuff that she had set up. And in some online discussions, I saw people talking about, oh, well, maybe his grandmother left it out because it seems like he's left the house the same way his grandmother had it because she had her flowers out dead and stuff like that. But I have a hard time believing that when the rest of her pills were put in the medicine cabinet. Why would just the oxy be out? Also, if you took notice to a scene where he's like looking things up on the computer, he has a search history of looking for retirement homes and the effects of oxy. So clearly he had dug through her medicine cabinet, and I think it might be implied that he himself may have been abusing the oxys. Can't confirm or deny that, but that is my personal analysis of that. I don't think it would be out of the medicine cabinet and openly available for the cat if it wasn't him that did it. It's clear to me he doesn't care that much about this cat to begin with. Bear is not a good cat owner because why are you leaving out open pills? And also, would you take your beloved cat and put it in a garbage bag? I would never do that to my cats, and I have 4. So, taking this corpse out like it's some trash, mind you. Not even giving it a proper burial, okay? This man does not care about this cat, not really. And I think this is going to reflect in how he treats Nikki in the future. So he takes the day off of work to mourn this cat, and Nikki and Ian and Sarah, his friends, all work at this music store together. She is calling him to invite him out to the bar for a trivia night and asking why he took the day off of work. Clearly she's a bit irritated in this phone call because she doesn't believe that he had a good reason to take work off. In this phone call, this is something that I think I haven't seen any man talk about, which I thought was interesting. It makes sense though, right? Because crystals are such a girly pop thing. But in this phone call, Nikki drops her crystal necklace down the drain. To me, that's a bit of foreshadowing, right? Her protection has gone down the drain. She's lost her protection. This is what prompts Bear to go to a crystal shop to replace this necklace for her. Does he end up actually replacing the necklace for her? No. Why? That's beyond me. Because it wasn't really about getting her a thoughtful gift, was it? He ends up purchasing this One Wish willow. He goes to this bar, and the whole time, this is like a friendship gathering, which I believe is an inappropriate place to try to make it about yourself and confess your feelings to somebody, potentially killing the vibes. But he is trying to find an opportunity the entire time to confess his feelings. But people and things keep getting in the way from doing so. At the bar, Nikki is buying shots for the group, and he tries to pay for it, which she vetoes and pays for it herself. To me, that is something a woman would do if she wasn't interested in a guy. Don't pay for that. That's not a relationship. Bear does not like the taste of alcohol, so when they toast for this drink, he says to Sandy, his cat, and then he doesn't even take the shot. He actually puts it behind him back on the bar counter. This is when Sarah is the only person to ask him, why Sandy? And he tells her about what happened with his cat. And then I think it's implied that he tells the rest of the group back at the table, because later on when Nikki is being taken home by Bear, she already knows about the cat, and we never got to see him telling her about it. So he offers to take Nikki home, where in the car she asks how he feels about Sarah. And that is because she knows that Sarah has a crush on Bear. But Bear brushes it off. He says, oh, well, I like her as a friend. He doesn't even consider her, right? And I saw some people saying that this felt like Nikki was egging him on towards Sarah, but that's not necessarily the impression that I got, because she follows all this up by saying, nobody knows when I have a crush on somebody. And to me, this entire car sequence showed me that there may have been a world where he and Nikki could have authentically had some kind of romantic relationship had he had the courage to actually tell her about his feelings. Because, well, for one, I didn't mention this earlier, but in the beginning scene when he's practicing confessing his feelings, Ian suggests that he calls her Freaky Nikki, a childhood name that she hates it, to neg her a bit. And as she's walking out of the car, he actually does it. He chooses to neg her. Awesome. You're such a great guy. And she takes this opportunity to say, you like me, don't you? Do you like me? She asks him very directly, and he dodges the question. He doesn't have the balls. She says to him, this is your time, your opportunity to tell me if you have feelings for me. And he doesn't do it. He's cowardly. Oh, also, he, on the drive back home, he tells her that he has a gift for her, and she goes, ew. That's her reaction. Ew, what did you get for me? Don't do that. Does this mean that she wasn't interested in him all? I don't know. I think a lot of signs point to her not being interested, but it also could have been her personality of kind of edgy personality, right? Where she kind of has this like not ooey gooey personality, but it also could read as her silently signaling to him that she's not interested. So she walks back home, right, from the car into her house. We hear the door shut, and this is when this gift that he bought for her, by the way, the one wish willow was supposed to be a gift for her that he was also too cowardly to give to her in the first place. So he takes this gift that is supposed to be for her, and he goes and breaks it, and he says, I wish for Nikki to love me more than anyone in this fucking world. He turns and looks to the door, and she's standing in front of the door, and she has this sudden personality change and does not want Bear to go home. She keeps inviting him inside. He doesn't go in. So she creates this elaborate lie about how her father has cancer. She's crying about it, but her body isn't moving. It was very eerie. And she's doing anything and everything to be able to spend the night with Bear. And it ends with her going back to Bear's house. And she keeps insisting, by the way, she has been out drinking all night, okay? She keeps insisting that he comes in bed with her and starts kissing him. And he at first has some reservations about this. He doesn't go into it enthusiastically because he is aware that she is under the influence, and he was sober enough to drive, right? Because he wasn't taking those shots. He doesn't like the taste of alcohol. So he knew that in any case, he would be taking advantage of her in a state where she cannot consent, okay? And she's acting bizarre. He knows she's acting bizarre this whole time. That's why he's showing discomfort this whole time, and he still goes and kisses her. But there is this moment where Wish Nikki, the real Nikki, snaps out of being Wish Nikki while they're kissing, and she freaks out and jumps back. And when Wish Nikki comes back in control, she says, oh, I don't know why I did that. I thought I saw something behind your head. And at this point, he's properly freaked out, and they don't end up sleeping in the same bed together. He ends up sleeping on the ground at the foot of the bed. In the morning when he wakes up, she has woken up before him and prepared him breakfast, and also made a memorial with his cat's corpse on the ground. Okay, this also says to me he never actually disposed of this cat. He just put it in a garbage bag accessible for her, which again, an interesting choice. So then they all go to work. He takes her to work, and he is talking to Ian, his friend, about how Nikki's been acting weird, and she's in the background staring at him the entire time. Then the movie goes into this like montage of Nikki and him having a relationship together. A seemingly loving relationship. Doesn't seem like anything's quite off except for the fact that, you know, they're watching a movie together and he's turning her chin over to watch the movie instead of staring at him. So, you know, the obsession that she has with him is present throughout this montage of love. And this montage ends with him being at a restaurant with Nikki, where he gets a phone call from Ian telling him that Nikki has lied about her father having cancer and that she actually hates her dad and doesn't have a close relationship with him. He ends up confronting Nikki about this, where she freaks out and has that famous scene, the "Don't do that! I thought we were having a nice dinner!" Right? I also want to note that it seems that everyone but Bear knew about how she didn't have a close relationship with her father. Sarah knew and Ian knew, but Bear did not know. So how close was he to her, really? Like, did he have any merit in even wanting to confess his feelings to her? He had never even taken the time to truly get to know her enough to know that she doesn't like her father like that. After she has her little freak out moment in the restaurant, she says, does it matter? Like, she's like, does this matter? Does it matter that I lied to you? Does it matter? Does it matter to our relationship? To which Bear goes, no. And they continue to have their nice night together. And then the following scene is them going home together and him having intercourse with her while she has this blank gaze that he doesn't pick up on. Inattentive, doesn't even notice that she's not really in it. She's fully dissociated. Horrible, horrible. That was honestly like a stomach gut-wrenching scene. I hated that with every fiber of my being. And afterwards she's like, oh, that was great, Bear. And he believes it. He eats that shit up. Great. I've certainly done that, you know, laid there like a corpse as a man who doesn't give a F about me takes advantage of my body. Too close to home, right? I've been she is me. How can he not notice her expression? It's because he doesn't care. These men do not care. This is the same night that she wakes up around 3 to 4 a.m. or he wakes up around 3 to 4 a.m. and finds her standing in the corner acting absolutely bizarre. And I think it was prompted by the dinner, right? Where there's like kind of a crack in their love story. And she gets the inclination that their feelings are not mutual. Who's throwing up? Who's throwing up? Hey. Sorry, cat was having a moment under this couch. But so this is where she has her little freak out in the middle of the night. She's watching him sleep and she says, it feels like you don't love me as much as I love you and the feelings aren't mutual, you know? And she's like acting bizarre, moving backwards, really creepy. And he begs her to come back into bed. She does, and that's that. He's ignoring a lot of strange behavior, okay? I think throughout the movie it's pretty obvious that he doesn't actually care about having a good relationship with Nikki. He only cares about how people are viewing them as a couple. The next morning he is going to work, she is staying home, and she has prepared lunch for him. And he's telling her, you can't act like this, you can't act like this. In this movie, he's constantly scolding her and talking to her like a child, talking down to her. You can't behave this way, you can't act weird, just be Nikki. And she says, I promise, I won't do the weird things anymore, I won't do the weird things anymore. Gives him the lunch. He turns to walk out of the door, and the door is duct taped shut. His expression, it was so funny, guys. That was a really good scene in the movie. But he spent some time ripping the door open, and he goes to work. At work, he kind of has like a flirty moment with Sarah. She is talking to him about how she hasn't been accepted to any of the schools that she wants to go to. She had just gotten a denial letter from one of the schools that she had applied to. And she rests her head on his shoulder, and she does the same. And he does the same. And at this point, she goes, ew, your lunch smells weird. And he had already taken a big bite out of the sandwich, okay? And he discovers that Nikki has cooked up his dead cat and put it into a sandwich. This day from work, he drives Ian home. Ian insists that he drives him home. And Ian talks about how he has a gathering at his house and he should show up without Nikki because Nikki has been acting strange. And if it's a healthy relationship, he should be able to have one boys' night without Nikki. He drops off Ian. This is where we find out they live in the same neighborhood. They only live a few houses down. Before he goes into the house after dropping off Ian, he's sitting outside, and the cat sandwich has really, really disturbed him. And he looks at the One Wish Willow box after it sings its song again, and he sees there's a phone number there. He calls the One Wish Willow phone number, and instead of asking, the caller, the person on the other side offers and says, we can cancel your wish for you. And he says, no, I want to alter it. So he is still dead set on having Nikki as his girlfriend against her will, okay? He asks to alter it, they say they can't do it, and then he asks, okay, fine, let's cancel it, and they say, oh, sorry, we can't do that either. Do you want to hear her though? And they put Nikki on the phone, and it's just real Nikki screaming on the other side of the phone. Really, really disturbing stuff. And the guy on the phone says the only way he can save her from this wish is for Bear to pass away. that she is stuck in this wish until as long as Bear is alive, and that he owes it to her to see her out through this because he did this to her. So the obvious answer is for him to die, right? Yeah. He's not going to do that, obviously. We've seen how cowardly he is. So he goes back inside, and Nikki, the entire time he was at work, just waited at the door for him, standing with a smile on her face. She is standing in her own urine, vomit, and feces. And you can see in her vomit that there's only some few stray kibbles in there. Was she trying to be like his cat so that he would love her more the way he loved his cat? But also, this pointed out to me because her stomach was empty. It was mostly bile. That even though he claims to be obsessed with her and is so in love with her and care for her so much, he doesn't even bother to make sure that she's taking good care of herself, that she's being taken care of, that she's even eating. So while she's in the shower cleaning herself up, he tells her that he's going to go to Ian's house for a boys' night, to which she freaks out and ultimately ends with him taking her to Ian's house. At the house, they're all playing like a Jenga drinking game where it has like a dare on the Jenga piece that you pull, and you can either take a shot or do the dare. Nikki pulls her turn, and we never really get to find out what it was that she pulled, but this prompts her to read a very creepy like poem or story she's written about Hansel and Gretel, but it's like a distorted version, incestuous version, where Hansel and Gretel are doing it together, okay? And I think that might be an indication of how real Nikki feels about him, sees him as a brother. Now, when it becomes Bear's turn, Bear is sitting to the right of Sarah, okay? He pulls a Jenga that says, kiss the person to your left. Now, he didn't have to even read that. He didn't. He could have just taken a shot. But remember, he doesn't like the taste of alcohol, so he couldn't even spare Nikki her feelings. Like, he had to humiliate her in front of people. I wouldn't want my partner to do that at a party, kiss a random woman. The fuck? That shit would piss me off too. That would piss off any woman. It's unacceptable. And he still, instead of taking a shot, he can't even be bothered to disgust himself with the taste of alcohol to spare her feelings. He reads it out loud and looks towards Sarah, to which Nikki obviously freaks out, pulls Sarah's chair to get next to him, and gives him a kiss instead. And this prompts real Nikki to wake out, and she starts screaming, it's not me, this is not the real me. And she breaks a liquor bottle and starts stabbing herself in the face with it. Every time that Nikki hurts herself, I wonder, there's like theories of people saying that it's the real Nikki trying to end her life, but that wasn't necessarily the impression that I got. I wondered if it was Wish Nikki trying to regain control of Nikki's body by causing harm and pain to her so that the real Nikki would retreat back into herself. Because ruining your face, hurting yourself like that, that's not going to kill you, right? So the party obviously is over, the vibes are ruined. He tries to take her to a hospital, nobody will take her, so they end up going home. He's really freaked out after this night. He talks to her about how she wasn't acting normal and that it was really scary, and that he is going to spend the night at Ian's. This is where she goes into a kitchen, grabs something, and then stands in the darkness and threatens him with a strange poem about how she is going to slit her wrists and lay in bed until she dies unless he lays next to her. So obviously he ends up staying the night with her, and he gets a text from Sarah around 2:45 a.m. I think the timing is also symbolic because, like, isn't like 3 to 4 like the witch's hour? That's like the hour where like demonic spirits and entities have the most strength. So he wakes up around 2:45 a.m. and Sarah is insisting that he meets her at a park. He's trying to sneak away, and this is when real Nikki breaks through in the sleep and talks to him, begging him to just kill her. Just kill me, please. Wish Nikki is still sleeping. And instead of giving a single fuck about how Nikki is feeling, this is where it's so evident how the way that Bear thinks. He says, what is so bad about being with me? So she's begging to die because she has no autonomy. She has no control of her body and mind and is forced into this relationship and forced into being raped every night. And all he can think about is it really that bad that you have to be with me, that you want to die? What? And she says to him, I was never with you. I have never been with you. Because it's always been Wish Nikki. So he goes to the park and meets Sarah in her car. And this is where they are having kind of like this flirtatious time. You know, they're talking about, oh, like you were the one to my left, like you need a girl who's not so obsessive like me, kind of thing. And she is also there to reveal the results of her final like college acceptance letter. She has like a letter that she wants to open and she hands it to Bear and says like, oh, you can open it for me. And here it shows me that it wasn't really Nikki, right, that he wanted. The second Nikki is like causing him all this trouble, he's willing to meet another woman in the dead of night and be flirtatious with her. And clearly Sarah has a crush on him. And it didn't really matter to him if it was Nikki or not. He just craves being wanted. And Nikki appears, smashes the window, and smashes Sarah's head into a brick over and over and over again until her face is entirely disfigured and she has passed away. And Sarah never even gets to find out if she got into the school or not. She dies before she even finds out that she made it into the school. Bear opens a letter by himself later and finds out that she did in fact get accepted. Really, really sad. Also, I want to point out that Nikki, so he woke up around 2:40, or he got the text around 2:45, right? And he goes to the park, which is close to his house. And he doesn't really get a lot of time before Nikki appears. It's about 15 minutes. So she's really only asleep until, what, 3 to 4 a.m. That's when she wakes up. Her demonic powers are strong again. I thought that was like an interesting little piece in the movie. So Nikki's like, let's get rid of her body together. They're getting rid of their body together. They end up at the music store for some reason. And later on, Nikki is going to have a gun. This is where Nikki gets the gun. The music store is owned by Sarah's father. She goes into the safe and gets the gun. We never get to really see that, but in the beginning of the movie at the bar, Ian talks about how her father has a gun, okay? So people were wondering, like, where did she get the gun? Where did she get the gun? She got it at the music store. So this is when Bear leaves Nikki so that she can dispose of the body, and he freaks out and goes to the crystal shop. Instead of the woman that was at the store the first time, there's a man now, and he's like complaining about how the wish is crazy, it didn't work well, and he's like asking the store owner, oh, can you make a wish for me? Can you make a wish for me to turn Nikki back to normal? And he's like, nah, dude, I already used my wish. This shows to me that the wish itself is not like a monkey paw kind of situation where no matter what you wish, it's messed up in a certain kind of way. It was the wish that Bear made himself that was corrupted, because there's this man that works at the crystal shop that is perfectly happy and fine with the wish that he made. So there's actually 3 One Wish Willows left, and he buys every single one of them, and he leaves. He goes to Ian's house and he explains the whole situation. This is why Nikki has been obsessed with me. It's because of this One Wish Willow. And he begs him, please, that I need you to say this so that we can unwish this wish. And instead, Ian wishes for $1 billion and money starts raining from the sky, okay? You would think the $1 billion would kill him. It's a lot of money. It's really heavy. It weighs like a ton. doesn't kill him. So then Bear goes back to his house. He's thinking maybe because Nikki will do anything for me, I can have her wish everything back to normal. But when he gets to the house, Nikki has propped up Sarah's corpse in like a very suggestive, fully nude position in a chair. And Nikki is wearing Sarah's dress and has drawn on all her tattoos in like marker and is presumably wearing her hair. Ew. She's trying to be Sarah, right? Because she wants Bear to love him no matter what. And she's threatening with the gun all over herself. You know, like, oh, should I kill myself? Should I kill myself? And Ian comes in through the door like, dude, the wish, like I have $1 billion, blah, blah, blah. And she, bow, kills Ian. What? This is where Bear retrieves the gun from Nikki and he goes to the bathroom where he locks the door while Nikki is freaking out on the other side and he's contemplating killing himself with this gun. And for some context, he has dropped the One Wish Willow outside somewhere in the house. And he is trying to shoot himself, does not have the courage to do it. So then he goes and looks at the oxy pills and he takes the whole bottle. And still, he takes it back. He takes the full bottle and then he goes to throw it back up because he is a coward. He has ruined every single one of his friends' lives and he still cannot commit to putting an end to it when that's the only way that Nikki can be free. This is the only way that he can end everyone's suffering is by ending his life and he can't even do it. And he goes to throw it back up and then you hear the One Wish Willow music and the snap. And Bear is not like himself and clearly Nikki has made a wish for him to love her as well. Which then makes him unable to vomit the pills back up, which I thought was quite poetic. He is going and kissing her, loving on her, she's happy, and then the pills kill him. And as Nikki is mourning him and going to also end her life because she loves him so much and cannot live without him, the wish clears up and she comes to, puts the gun down because it's not Wish Nikki anymore, it's real Nikki, and she looks around and realizes what has happened and she is like inconsolable, and that is the end of the movie. So throughout the entire friend group, she is the only one that is alive. Now, if you remember, he bought 3 One Wish Willows, so 4 total. The first one that he made a wish on, the one that Ian made a wish on, the one that Wish Nikki made a wish on, and there's 1 more left. So I was wondering, where's the last wish? What's going to happen with the last wish? Is the real Nikki going to be able to use it and get any semblance of peace by using it? I don't know, but I thought it was interesting that the movie didn't use up all the One Wish Willows. It kind of like left this like ending of there possibly being like this future where another wish is made because there's 1 more left. Whether it be some other people in the future finding it and using it, or her using it to fix her life. So that is the end of the movie. And to me, a lot of people were saying that this movie is a be careful what you wish for kind of thing. You don't want a woman to be that obsessed with you. It's about Nikki's obsession with Bear. But really, it is about Bear's obsession with Nikki. That is evident to me as he never showed any genuine care for her. That's not love. He is using her sexually. He doesn't care about her autonomy. He doesn't care when she's begging for freedom. And he doesn't care when he hears her screaming and begging, screaming in agony. And I think the really sad part, right, is that he may have been able to have something genuine with either Nikki or Sarah. I felt like even though Nikki wasn't outwardly interested in Bear, there is like a world where she may have tried it out. If he would have been honest with her, he may have tried it out. And if not Nikki, Sarah did like him, and he clearly would have had something with Sarah too, with how he behaved when Nikki was being crazy. So he robbed himself of any genuine connection by forcing a woman into loving him. And he also, in turn, ruins everyone around him's life. His cowardice and selfishness ruins everyone's life. Ian is dead. Sarah dies without ever finding out whether she even got into her school. She was about to have a beautiful, flourishing life after she finds out about her school, and she doesn't get to have that. The only people that love and care about him, he loses by being a coward, a selfish, cowardly loser. And Nikki's life is obviously ruined. Even if she is free from the wish, all her friends are dead. What is she to do with that life now? What are the cops going to do when they find out? Is Nikki going to go to jail, right? She's not free of this. Her life is already ruined. But I think this movie can be a great litmus test for men's critical thinking skills and their understanding of coercion and consent. I also thought it was funny and interesting that the main character's name was Bear, because there was that whole thing online a while ago with women saying, would you rather be in the forest alone with a bear or a man? But yeah, that's my analysis. Let me know what you think. Let me know if I missed anything or if you disagree with me. But yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. That's my little movie review, my first movie review on this page. I know this is new for my channel, but I don't know. I watch a lot of movies, and this might be something new that I might do on this page. I hope you guys like it. And make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss any new videos from me. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys have a super sparkly rest of your day. Love you. Bye. Hey man, what are you doing?